We get asked this all the time. What is an H-1B? Who needs one? And then I have to ask the question, can you start a US company on an H-1B, or is there anything that people should keep in mind there?
You hear that all the time? Really?
I do.
Who's asking you that?
International residents or international founders who are evaluating.
Founder.
They may be running a business internationally, or they live outside the US. They're thinking about immigration, they're researching visas, H-1B comes up.
That's what they are. They're founders from outside the US who want to know how to expand their footprint in the US and what's the proper structure to do that.
Exactly.
Those are a lot of my clients. Okay, so this is awesome. So those people who come to me, and here's a perfect example of one of my clients who, brilliant guy, has a PhD in educational technology. His product is the most amazing thing. He works on special education technology products. He was like, okay, how much money do I need to get to the United States? So we did an LLC for him. His question was, should I do a new Office L, or should I do an E1 or E2 investment visa, which would be the best way for me to get a foothold in the United States? Or can I incorporate my own LLC and self-sponsor on an H-1B? So first of all, this was a long time ago, before everything went by lottery, where you actually could have a conversation with someone and say, any foreign person can incorporate a business, right? Any person in the world can come to the United States and incorporate a business, as long as you can find someone to sign off as the sole incorporator, right? And sign off on the SS4. The thing that you can't do is you can't work at that business. So the question is, what is this distinction doing business and what is work? And that is defined in case law, and always a really interesting conversation. So did you know this?
No, I'm waiting for the answer.
Okay,
Everyone's waiting for the answer.
If you are a foreign national and you do not have authorization to work in the United States, you can come in and do business in the United States, but there is a list of like 14 permissible activities. So you can come in and have meetings, you can come in and negotiate a contract, you can come in if someone's suing you and you have to respond to a litigation, you can come in to attend a conference or a training session, and but those are all B1, B2, or waiver activities. So you can come set up your business. That is not considered working. But sitting at a desk for 7 hours a day, or sitting at a desk in an office 5 days a week, is part of the case law definition of that's work. And then you start getting into who has dominion and control over this person. Do they have the right to come and go as they please? I mean, you can start getting into that question of, are you really working? If you are really working, are you an employee or are you an independent contractor, right? So what we don't want is people coming into the United States on the ESTA program or on B1 business visitor visas or B2 travel tourist visas and working without authorization, because that is what will bite you in the bottom when it comes to actually answering questions for the green card application. Generally speaking, you cannot work without authorization up until, through and including the day you get your green card, unless you marry an American and you get your green card through marriage, because the forgiveness of working without authorization is smack in the middle of Section 245, the adjustment statute, which controls that. There are certain exceptions where you can work without authorization, but you have to have been a victim of a crime, whatever. But generally speaking, you cannot, if you're a regular employment-based person, ever work without authorization, with certain limited exceptions like 245K that gives you the right to do it for less than 180 days under certain circumstances. But the general rule is you advise people not to go 1 day without work authorization.
Thank you. I mean, this is, I think, the clearest answer I've ever gotten. Tell me if this is an accurate summary. It is possible to start or incorporate a U.S. LLC on an H-1B, but
or
there's that list of,
or C Corp, you just can't work.
Just can't work. And the type of, what defines work, there are some permissible activities, business meetings, coming to negotiate a contract, but sitting at a desk 7, 8, 16, however many hours per day, that constitutes work. Business meetings, negotiating contracts, the other things you listed, that does not constitute work.
Necessarily.
Okay.